So here's the thing. That was a pretty good pitch. But you failed to communicate what is exciting. You have a hall here of, how many people are this? A few hundred, yeah, a few hundred. You got 4 people interested. So that doesn't mean it was a bad pitch. It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that there's room for improvement. So improve your pitch. Somebody else. You've got a hard crowd, by the way. Like, I'll give you that. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this is not for a game, but it's something I came up with about a week back on Facebook. I made a Facebook page for mobile apps, some ideas that I'm floating around. So my pitch, in a nutshell, it's called Mobful, Mobileful, so it's called Mobful. In a nutshell, it says Mobful is your mobile in your hand, brimming to be topped up with self-exploration, learning, mapping, gazing, serenading, just apps for fun, right? And if you go to the About, if I can just take maybe 30 seconds more.
No.
Okay, cool. So I'm done. That was my.
You get 3 sentences.
Yeah, cool.
Who thought that was good? It's sort of a rough one. Selling a Facebook page is hard. I think that was pretty okay. The main problem is I don't know what I would do with this website. I have no idea what it's going to do. I have no idea how it's going to make my life better. I just know. Sorry?
No website is yet, just an FB page
right now. Yeah, that's not a really good pitch.
Yeah,
it's an empty website. No, I wouldn't buy that. But yeah, no, good. Somebody else? One more try? You in the back corner?
Yeah. Okay, my pitch is, you are a thief who's been hired to steal classified information for an R&D complex. It's a top-down stealth game on iOS.
What was the name of the game?
Corporate Espionage.
You forgot that one. Who thought that was a good pitch? That's more hands than I saw before, actually. Still not everybody, still not close to over half of the people, but you got a bunch of people to like it. I don't know how I would play the game very much. I don't know what's special about it. I kind of felt that you liked this game yourself, personally. Like,
yeah, I do.
So that communicated a little bit. It obviously didn't communicate enough. So there's room to work. Now, here's the thing. Pitching is really hard. This is really, really hard. And you all need to be good enough at it that if I come back some other year and I do the same talk again, when you pitch your game, at least half of the hands need to go up. Half of them. Right? After you pitch, you need to get enough people excited that they want to play a game. Yeah, sure, you might be making a niche game, right? And only 10 people will like it. But those are the 10 people you need. You're all talking about games that are very mainstream, that are made to appeal to a broad audience, right? So why isn't it working? Why is it not working? The audience is here. They're not raising their hands. Pitching is really, really hard. It takes a lot of time. You know how long we take to write a pitch for a game? About 3 weeks. We're talking about 3 sentences. Maybe 30 words. You know how much time we take to make screenshots? 3 screenshots. 3 weeks. Take about a week per screenshot. Sounds ridiculous, I know. But these are literally the things that are going to be selling our game. This is what is going to earn me money, is the few words, the few screenshots. So when I see a game here, I look at the screenshots and I go like, is that a bug? That happens. I've actually seen a number of games that do that. Not good. Not good. I look at a screenshot and I think this is boring. Not good. Look at a screenshot and I don't get it. I don't get what you're making. Not good. You write a pitch. 4 people raise their hands. Not good. Failure. Oh, great. I have 5 minutes left. Failure is not. Oh, and my computer is updating. In 4 hours, it can update. Failure, not a bad thing. We're creatives. We fail all the time. The way we get better is failure. We fail again, we fail harder, we fail more often, and we learn. Failure is not bad. You stand up here before to pitch. You succeeded. Even if nobody liked your pitch, the fact that you got up and pitched puts you ahead of everybody else. Why? Because you had the guts to stand up. Next time, if you are working on a game and somebody asks you to pitch, it doesn't matter whether you think your pitch is good, you try it and see whether it works. Next time, if you're making a game and there's somebody on stage telling you to pitch, you pitch. You do it. Why? Because there might be somebody in this room, there might be a publisher in this room, there might be somebody from the press in this room that hears about your game and goes, yes, this game I want to write about. If you didn't raise your hand, if you didn't try, you missed that opportunity. You don't have room to miss opportunities. You're an independent developer. You take every opportunity you get. So, you write your pitch, right? You practice your pitch. You try again and again and again and again. You fail and you fail and you fail until your pitch is good. Now what do? You start collecting information of the press. I'm going to have to hurry up a bit, so I'm going to speak a bit faster. You collect emails. Every website has emails. Some websites have public emails. tips@rockpapershotgun is the email address for Rock Paper Shotgun. Other websites have specific email addresses per writer. Kotaku has a different email address for each writer. If you want to email Brian Crescenti, you email crescenti@polygon.com. Right? So you need to find those email addresses. The good news is most of them are on the website. So it's not that important, right? But you find them and you put them in a spreadsheet, every single one. You find the people that would be interested in your game. You put them in a giant spreadsheet. By the end of it, you have 300 email addresses. If you're in an event like this, the media badges, they have a different color. Does any of you know what color the media badge is? Why not? These are people of the press. They're walking around here. You could talk to them. You have your game with you, right? Show them your game. If you're with the press, sorry, I just probably caused 1 million people to come say hi to you after this. But pitch your game. Pitch it. I saw people from like IGN here. They have a badge. They have a different badge color. It's like a little strip underneath their thing. You can find that. Introduce your game to everybody. Everybody you could introduce your game to. Okay? And don't care whether it's bad. Don't care whether it's done. It doesn't matter. You try. Why do you try? Because you can tell them it's not done. You can tell them, well, it's not done, but this is kind of what we're trying to do, and like, if your pitch is good, hopefully you can make them excited with words and make them see why you're interested, right? Now, another thing, you create a press kit. Press kit, this is sort of self-promotion, but in a way it's also really, really important. I made something for free called Do Press Kit. The link will be at the end. It's an easy way to make sure that the press can find your pitch, the history of the game, your team, screenshots, and trailers. This is important. Why is this important? Remember the press looking through all the emails in the morning while they're having their coffee? They think your game is interesting, and they look for a screenshot. They can't find a good screenshot, they go, oh, well, I'll just take the next email. Make sure that there's good screenshots. They read about your website, they read about your game, and they do YouTube videos. They can't find video. They're not going to record that video for you. So make sure you have that video. So do this. Then think about your strategy. Oh man, 1 minute 10, that's not a lot. Think about your strategy. What's unique about your game? What's interesting about your game? How can you use that? Ridiculous Fishing, when we launched that, we used an alternate reality game. We pretended to launch a social network. Why did we do that? Because Ridiculous Fishing is a lot about contemporary stuff. It's about social. It's about ridiculousness. And we wanted to put all those things in there. So we pretended, we fake launched a social network called Birder. It was a social network where you could talk about your favorite fishing trips. And we got thousands of signups, people that believed it was real. And then as we went, it started to fall apart. The CEO started writing weird emails, and the accountants started writing weird emails. And people were like, what is happening? And then we launched a fishing game. That fit Ridiculous Fishing. It doesn't fit any of our other games. So think about what is special about your game and how can you use this in marketing. Marketing is not a separate part of making a game. It's part of game development. It's part of game design. Your marketing fits your game. You don't just smash it on like, oh, we need to do marketing. Shall we do some marketing? Yeah, let's do marketing. Like, that's not how this goes. You think about what your game is, what's special about it. You communicate that, and you communicate that in a way that fits your game. I have a giant red flashing sign saying your time is up. Think about your timing. iOS game, 3 weeks in advance. Send your game to all the press, send your game to Apple. Send your game to Android. 3 weeks at least. Tell them to not write about it. Tell them, please, we're launching in 3 weeks. Could you please wait with writing about this game until we're ready to launch? Then 1 week before the game launches, email them again. If you're making a PC game, take a month, a bit more. Give them more time. And make sure that you have interesting things happening in the last week. Why? So that people remember about your game. The press has already had all the time to play your game. They've not been swamped by Halo, like Master Chief Edition. Like, you need to give them time. You need to give them time to review your game. You need to give them time to think about your game. You need to give Apple time to consider your game for feature. 3 weeks. Maybe 4. Take 4. What do you do in the other 4 weeks? How do you keep the fire burning? How do you keep them interested? Think about that. Figure out ways to do that. Marketing is not about sending an email. It's about creating interest. You don't create interest by sending one email. It's a strategy. You think about it. You figure things out. And the final thing, there are developers here that have made games that are successful, that have been in the press, that have won awards. Ask them. They know. We don't know. When you send an email to the press and the press does not respond, what do you do? What? Cry? No, you email again. Why not? Why not email again? People think that the press will get upset. The press doesn't get upset. They probably just missed your email because they had 400 emails to read. And they're like, well, I guess Halo is launching, Assassin's Creed has bugs, and there's this other thing coming out that's huge. I guess I don't have to read my email today. Delete everything. Done. There goes your email. You just email them again. You can do that 2 or 3 times. They won't get upset. Now, if the press doesn't respond, it means they don't hate you. It just means they didn't have time. The press does respond and tells you to please stop emailing you. You've been emailing too much. Don't do that. But until that time, email again. Keep emailing. Don't assume things. Never assume. Never assume that you know how this works. I thought I knew how this industry worked. In 4 years, every time I took something I thought I was right about, I was wrong. Every single time. You're always wrong. Because this industry is weird. We're all weird. You think about it? We're like a bunch of people making video games. Like, it's weird. And this industry works in weird ways. People thinking that press will get upset when you email them again? No, they don't. People thinking that, no, I don't have to go to the event because I don't have a video game? Wrong. Because going to an event is a good networking opportunity. You're here, this is great, talk to each other. Get inspired, give feedback on each other's games. Then write a good email. Now, these are 5 points, I'm going to run through them really, really quickly. Good subject line. Subject line, give yourself 5 to 7 words, no more than that. In that needs to be everything. If they read the subject line, they need to be able to figure out what you're talking about. If your game title is 7 words long, holy shit, that's terrible. That's your entire subject line, don't do that. You write the email, first paragraph, 1 sentence, the news. 1 sentence. The entire news needs to be in that 1 sentence. Utrecht. Dutch independent studio Vlambeer announces that Ridiculous Fishing will launch on the 14th of February 2013 for iOS. 1 sentence. If you just read that 1 sentence, you know what article to write. 3 sentences after that, your pitch. If they don't know what you're talking about in the next 3 sentences, they need to be as excited about this game as you are. 3 sentences. You get 4 sentences, first paragraph. That's all. Not a single sentence more. Why? Because if somebody in the press opens an email and they see a wall of text, they're just going to, this person obviously doesn't care for my time. So I'm going to, don't tell them about your history. Don't tell them about your cat that died, or like, I don't know. Don't tell them, they don't care. Don't tell them about how long you've been working on the game. That's not news. They're not in the business of telling your life story. They're in the business of writing interesting articles. If your life story is interesting, they will write about that. But news. First sentence, news. 3 sentences, pitch. Then after that, if you can write a quote, this sounds really pretentious, but we are really excited to be launching Ridiculous Fishing after almost 2 years of development and obviously dealing with the emotional impact of a clone, says Rami Ismail of Vlambeer. I will literally write that in my emails. You know why? Because the press will go, copy, paste. It's not even that they're lazy. It's just that's really, you just did their work for them. They're like, wow, yes, I will take this. And of course they will. If that was my job, if somebody sent me an email and they're like, oh, by the way, this is the code you need to use to fix your bug, I'm going to fix that bug because we just have to copy paste it, right? Somebody sends me a bug report and they're like, well, the game is broken. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I don't know what you mean. So another way you can make things easier, write in third person. Don't write I. Never say I. Vlaambir. Never say I think. Say Vlaambir says. Make it so that the more they want to copy and paste from your press release, which is obviously good for you, because hopefully you're writing positive stuff about yourself, the better it is, right? So make it easy to copy paste. Send a build. If you ever get the brilliant idea to send an email to the press and be, if you're interested in a build, just email me and I will send you a build. That's a terrible idea, because now the press has to do more work to get your game. And there's another email in the inbox with the game. Don't be scared of sending builds. Please don't be scared of sending builds. The press is not somebody that will leak your game to the Pirate Bay. They won't steal your idea. They won't give it to other developers. Put the build in the email. Now, obviously, if your game is completely broken and not ready yet, don't do that. But if you're at the part where you can talk about your game and your game is almost done, put the build in the email. Put it there. And respect their time. That's what all of this is about. Respect their time. Don't waste their time. You know what the biggest complaint is I get from the press? People that send an email where the entire press release is in a PDF file. People will send an empty email to the press with a PDF file with their text in it. Now, A, part of the press just blocks PDF files because they're relatively virus prone. B, a lot of press don't have time to download your PDF and they don't care. They don't want to care. Maybe they're checking on like some old computer somewhere and there's no Adobe Reader on it. They don't care. Why do you make it difficult? Plain text. We can read. Link to your press kit if you want screenshots. Don't put the screenshots in the email. How many emails do you send? 1 million. Well, a bit less, but a lot. You send emails until your finger hurts from pressing send. You send it to everybody. Anybody that might be interested. You send a build. Anybody. Small website, big website. Doesn't matter. Send a build. Send the game. Send the press release. Send your news. Every time. If they respond, be nice to them. If they respond, if they take your news, be nice to them. If they have a request for you, an interview, yes. Review, yes. Photo shoot, sure, I don't care. They want you to submit to some festival you've never heard of? Absolutely. I will do that. Everything. Every single thing you can do, you do it. And when they eventually write about your game, you know what you do? You say thank you. You send them a follow-up email and you go, I read the article that you wrote about our game. I want you to know that I super appreciate that. If there's ever anything I can help you with again, please feel free to reach out. You know why? Because the next time you send them an email, they're like, oh, I know that name. I think that person was nice. Let's just read this email. And then suddenly, you've got a contact. And you hold on to contacts, because contacts are important. Now, this works everywhere. This is not just something you do with the press. This is the same way you deal with Steam. It's the same way you deal with iOS. It's the same way you deal with your players. You think about the context that they're in. You think about the situation that you're in. You optimize your message specifically for them, and you treat them with respect. That is what marketing is. That is all that marketing is. It has nothing to do with million-dollar budgets. It has nothing to do with explosive trailers. All it has to do is figure out how to communicate what your game is and why you're excited about it in the best possible way for the people that you're sending it to. And then when they write about it, when they play it, you are thankful. That is all. They write a bad review, you are still thankful. I've read terrible reviews for Luftrausers. I've read terrible criticism for Luftrauser. I send this one guy who wrote a super bad article about Luftrausers. send him an email that I disagreed with him, but that I appreciated the analysis, that I thought it was really cool that he spent so much time thinking about it, and that if he ever needs something, he can email me again. Now that took a lot of self-control because honestly, that article was a piece of shit. But he still took that time, and I'm still thankful for that. 2 final tips. There's 2 free services you can use. Now Distribute is one of mine again, so I'm not going to promote that. Promoter is not by me, it's by a Swedish developer called Andreas Zecker. What it does is it checks gaming websites for mentions of your game. So you type in the name of your game, and every time anybody in the press writes about it, you get a little message. And then you can send them a thank you. So do that. Make sure you do that. Now, all of the things I talked about are available here. If you need any of the tools I talked about, any of the things I talked about, if you go to vlambeer.com/toolkit, you will find all of them. Everything is there, including a lot of other tips, a lot of other tools that you can use to make games. Because in the end, that's what we're here for, right? Like in the end, like the marketing is not the goal. The selling is not the goal. The goal is that at the end of the day, we have enough money, we have enough motivation, we have enough to make a new game. So that's why we're here, to make games. Thank you. I super ran out of time. Like super ran out of time. Like it says like 12 minutes over time. I was just going to say, unless they kick me off the stadium by force, I will take a bunch of questions. Go ahead.
So yeah, we talked a lot about marketing and PR. I would love to get your insights on App Store descriptions and all of that.
Yes.
Anything you would like to say about that?
I mean, what you're asking is essentially what the talk was about, right? It's about communicating. So when you think about your App Store description, when you think about your keywords, when you think about your screenshots, you're basically thinking the exact same way. So you're thinking about somebody that has never heard about your game, presumably, right? That's what the App Store page is for. If people know about your game, they're going to be downloading it anyway. They don't even look at the page. You're looking for the people that find that page without having